to be honest with you, there's been a lot of talk today about who's a bust, who's got upside on the Titans, how can you fairly evaluate this team? And I think a lot of what they do in free agency will tell you with Mike Bergonzi how he evaluates the team. Because there's been a lot of talk today on Twitter about JC Latham, since some clips, people been on JC Latham's neck. And this one thing I'll say about the JC Latham situation. Zay, what up? Like I told y'all, I think them moving him from right tackle to left tackle, from left tackle to right tackle, him going through an injury has really hurt his confidence and his ability to be aggressive. But the one thing I think hurts him worse than that, the Tennessee Titans do not fire off the ball and play and let the offensive lineman get aggressive and go downhill. And I'm gonna explain why I think that is. Tennessee Titans are probably one of the worst screen teams I've ever seen. They're probably the most penalized offensive unit I've ever seen. And when you can't screen it and you can't run it and you always behind the chains, teams just send the dogs at you. Y'all play games, y'all play Madden. When you got somebody you don't think can make reads and can deal with pressure, you just blitz them all game and they say you're cheesing. He's nano blitzing me. He's sending too many. He's tricking out my offensive line. That's basically what teams do to the Tennessee Titans because they're always in third and long. And I think overall they need a revamp in the offseason. Whoever comes in to reset this offense, the Titans have to be able to screen it. They got to be able to run it. And when you watch the New England Patriots last night, when they went empty set, there's no running back standing behind the left guard. They spread people out and they get the ball out hot. They took a left tackle at the top of the draft last year, and Campbell from LSU, and he didn't play last night. And I looked at the offensive line. You know me, I'm gonna go look at the depth chart, and they just took some journeymen and just patched together a line, and their line plays better with a system because when Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson got behind their pads, they just kind of play bully ball a little bit and they play action you over the top. And I think the Tennessee Titans don't have any of that. They can't run it. They can't play action it. They can't screen it. They're not good at anything schematic. Let me teach you how to vibe. I think that's what mainly has to change. Because I got an unconventional approach to what the Titans should do with the team. I know I've made some content about who the head coach should be. I'm starting to fixate on, we got a really good special teams coach and we got a really good defensive coordinator. We got really bad talent and our offense is complete dog water. I really think that they should just get an established coach that is good with offense and just build an offensive staff and leave everything else in place. I know that doesn't sound like a traditional way that you would set a team, but I would like to see Dennard Wilson with just a decent cornerback or two. He's dialed up pressure. They've gotten rid of his cornerback 1, 2, and 3. They've gotten rid of his best pass rushers. Well, one of them's injured, and then one of them got traded. He's got a team of the week card on the Ravens already. I hope they make the playoffs so he turns into a 4th round pick and Draymond Jones. And when you look at Ernest Jones with a 90-yard touchdown, with a 90-yard interception return for a touchdown last week, Ernest Jones leads the Seahawks in tackles and interceptions. So you look at all the pieces that they gave Dennard Wilson, they've moved them all. And the defense, if you look at them statistically, the Tennessee Titan defense is still in the top half of defenses in the NFL with all the turnover, with playing a rookie safety and a rookie cornerback out of position last week. Is this the only reason why the Jaguars got passing touchdowns? Is 2 busted coverages, because you have your rookie free safety playing nickelback and your rookie nickelback playing outside corner, and the communication was off, and it's just some busted coverages. I mean, you're starting to pick my brain a little bit. Because hear me out. If you leave Bones Fossil and Dennard Wilson in place, and you just added McCarthy or Nagy and just told them to find the offensive staff and align those 2 guys with Mike Berganzi to build the roster out, I think that'd be a much improved coaching unit. Because I got a feeling like I like Dennard Wilson's mentality and how he coaches. I just would like to see him with some talent. Because we'll look at him and he'll be another one of those guys that we wasted in Nashville, and he'll be a great coordinator somewhere else, and we'll be wishing we had him. Because realistically, making him a Bones Fossil interim coach would have been a better situation for the Tennessee Titans and where they sit as far as the development of the team. And as much as I've been thinking about it, I have like an unconventional approach to how they should approach free agency. Because I know they're clearing Rand's guys out. I don't know how bad this Cushenberry foot injury is, but this might be the chance that they go in free agency and go after Tyler Lindenbaum, the center for the Ravens, who's going to get a pretty big deal, and stick him in the middle of the line and let him help communicate the offensive line for the Tennessee Titans. We know Zietler's out. Maybe when you trade back, maybe people can forget about Jeremiah Love and Carnell Tate, and maybe you forget about Arvell Reese or Ruben Bain, and you take a big trade back and get more, and you go after the best offensive lineman in the draft, whether he's a tackle or guard, and you just bolster that way. You know what? To hell with it. Just gonna go. Just throw as much as you want at the offensive line, and go get Breece Hall and put him at running back, and get Pollard out of here. That might be a better situation for the Tennessee Titans, is to say, you know what, trench warfare. Everybody wants the skill position players. Maybe we can find them in rounds 2 and 3. We found a lot in round 4 last year. It might be the move. That might be the move, and I'll go through that later on. I ain't gonna stop the shop talk right now and go through what I think they should do. We'll save that for a little bit later, but I think they got to look at all approaches, because I can see the vision of what Berganzi wants to build, as far as like the type of players, which is bigger, faster, stronger players, like adding speed to the roster. But I think they're gonna clear everything that Rand has set in place, and as much as it frustrates me to see people, kind of, do the wrestling pile on top of JC Latham, because Corey said they was tripping on JC, they got him playing musical chairs and he was hurt. Yeah, and I think a lot with that is the confidence of the players that are out there. I think that people are more critical of JC Latham than they are of Lloyd Cushenberry, Zietler. I get critical of the veterans that's been around. They on their second and third contract. I'm more critical of Dan Moore than I am JC. That's why I made the post that I made about Dan Moore leading the league in sacks last year. And then I turn around and say, like, he's on pace to be at the top of the league this year. And people come to defend Dan Moore. but they go after JC. I know he's a first round pick, and people think about the players that we could have drafted instead of him. But what if JC gets healthy and comes back this offseason? Because this dude came back 300 pounds with a six pack. He just got hurt, and I don't think he ever got the confidence back in his body, changing positions again. And for the most part, he's gotten better. He still got some bad reps, and you expect that, because that's been the topic of the day. Is and this is my question to y'all: can you expect JC Latham and Dan Moore to pass block 40 good reps a game? That's my question to y'all. Lloyd Cushenberry, Dan Moore, Peter Skoronski, Kevin Zeitler, JC Latham, a lot of resources. Can we fairly expect that offensive line to be in second and third and long all game and block 40 pass reps? I don't think that's a logical approach, considering Myles Garrett, Boy Mafe, Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, DeForest Buckner, Nick Benito, Jared Verse, Byron Young, like Max Crosby. These are the people we've played this year when we talk about the edge rushers that the Titans have played against. And we're expecting these two tackles to line up and block 40 good pass reps a game without getting flooded. It's not realistic. I think the realistic thing is the Titans need to be a better screen team. They need to be better running the football. They need to let these offensive linemen fire off the ball early in a game like they did the opening drive Sunday against Jacksonville. And what that does is it slows down that edge rusher on the speed rush. It slows down the stunts. It slows down the fake outside pass rush loop inside. All that slows down when a team is screening and running the football, because that 250 to 300 pound edge rusher gets tired of burning energy, speed rushing upfield and watching a cutback run gash them on the backside because they overrushed. I think that's what the Tennessee Titans need, and to marry that with this offensive line, I think you'll see much improved play. And I think you'll get better decision making from Cam Ward, seeing as he didn't throw a pick in November. He had one turnover, a fumble, that he lost in the month of November. So for the rookie to be more self-aware with the football and to protect the football more, imagine coming into year two, if we could actually execute less penalties, if we ran more, passed less, because I don't see a world where Cam Ward throws the ball 40 times against the Browns and the Titans win. I think, you got to get Cam Ward in that 25 to 30 passes range, and you got to be able to increase the snaps running the football, because Tony Pollard had 10 carries for 60 yards. It's 6 yards a carry. He just didn't have enough carries. That's a game where you want to get him to that 18 to 20 touches of the football, and you might get a different outcome in the game, and it'll keep your quarterback upright. Because imagine those two tackles only blocking 30 pass attempts as opposed to 42. You got 12 less times that a rusher, one of the most athletic, if y'all seen that move that Myles Garrett did on the Niners, the Euro step, I can't expect a 320 pound guy to block that an extra 12 times when they don't need to. He said, why not move Dan Moore to guard, let JC play right tackle, and draft a left tackle? But that's kind of what I meant by my unconventional approach. But then again, what if they're not just what if they're not that bad as they're being put in the position to seem? What if we get a new coach that comes in, commits to running the football, lets them fire off and play with confidence and play ahead of the chains? They could potentially play better. Now, I'm not opposed to taking a completely unconventional approach and trading back out of one, going getting Tyler Lindenbaum from the Ravens, moving one of those guys in the guard and taking the best tackle in the draft. I'm not opposed to that, but it's got to be a commitment, because not only do you do that, you got to go get a running back like Breece Hall, because what we did with DeMarco Murray, people forget, when before Derrick Henry came in, Dion Lewis and DeMarco Murray was here, was a solid running back like DeMarco Murray mixed with Derrick Henry and Lewis. Then Derrick Henry took over at the end of his contract. It has to be something like that, because I think you kind of underestimate what it sounds like from then to now. It's like, yo, you had DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry in the same backfield. Like, you got to load it up like that, and commit to running the football. Like when Jim Harbaugh got to the Chargers, you knew with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt and that they were going to run the football. He went and got 2 free agent running backs to start that year, and then this year he went and got Najee Harris, Amarion Hampton, and 2 other running backs. Like, you have to make a full-on commitment. You know, the 49ers, with all the injuries they had on their line and their team this year, there's McCaffrey, there's Brian Robinson. Like, they're gonna find multiple backs to be able to run the football. I think they have to commit to it. I trust J.C. Latham ceiling more than Dan Moore. Now, Dan Moore was a reach, an overpaid, bad team tax that we kind of got stuck with. So maybe they do trade back and take the best tackle out of Miami, or one of those guys out of Utah, or Caden Proctor out of Bama. They may say, you know what, we're gonna find a partner to take Dan Moore. Yeah, I wouldn't even be mad if they traded Dan Moore and went after the best left tackle in the draft and cut and did something with Cushenberry and put Tyler Lindenbaum in and left JC at right tackle and put Jackson Slater at right guard. I wouldn't even be opposed to something like that. I really wouldn't be, because something has to change up front. And if they can't run the football, if they can't screen it, how many times we've been in this year, 4th and 1, 4th and inches, 3rd and 1, 3rd and inches, 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, and this team just can't get a yard. You know, I know 2 times on 4th down I've seen Zeitler whiff a block. I know he did it in the Chargers game. You just can't. I seen JC do it this past Sunday. Just completely miss his man and let the running back get lit up in a short yardage situation. I said Ravens need to re-sign Tyler. Go right tackle in the first. I mean, do y'all got the money for Tyler though? Is the question, because he's gonna get one of those $20 million a year contracts.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
And I just feel like the Titans blew their $20 million a year on the wrong player. I feel like they should have left JC at left tackle, and they should have drafted or signed a right tackle in free agency. If you had JC at left tackle and you had Oli Udoh at right tackle, I promise this line would be, to me, I would feel better about it.